All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thank you, Lighting Systems, for setting this up. Very happy to do this. I always love being out there in person with you guys, but it's great that we have such a good audience here that Lighting Systems has put together so that we can talk a bit about BuzziSpace. So I'm Sam, Sam Greer, National Sales Manager for BuzziSpace. I've been with Buzzy for 6 years, and today, since it's a 20 at 10, we're going to do a brief update. I'll jump right into it. So, if you're not familiar with us, BuzziSpace is a Belgian-based company. We have been in business for 18 years. So we right now our latest theme is the quiet revolution. So we're known for doing all types of acoustic solutions and acoustic products. We're quite an innovator. You hopefully you've used us, or hopefully you will use us in the future or continue that. So again, we started in 2007. Back 18 years ago, there really weren't a lot of fun acoustic products. There's a lot of egg foam and panels and just a little bit more gray and muted and a bit boring. So we're definitely known for having fun, healthy, exciting products to help balance the acoustics in your space. If you are visiting us in Antwerp, we'd love to see you. Also in the US, we have two showrooms. One is in Chicago in the Merchandise Mart, and another one is in New York. So if you're ever visiting any of our markets, it's great to come and see and feel and experience how these products work and sound absorption in your space. So I mentioned that we have a lot of products. We have a whole catalog. So we sometimes refer to it as the Buzzy universe. It can get a bit overwhelming. So it's funny, I meet with people all the time and they might realize that we have, or they might not realize that we do have lighting, or they might not realize we have planters. It's really all over the place. And that's one of the fun things about BuzziSpace is we're not just acoustic panels. We always have a multi-functionality into our design. So it really helps you with designing your space, because oftentimes when you're thinking of acoustics, you're thinking, oh, I just need to put a tile up here. And then that tile maybe has no other value. So that's something that's very easy to get value engineered or cut from the job. But if you're already designing with acoustic products like acoustic lighting, it's a multifunctional piece. So you've got the lighting, the aesthetics, and the sound absorption. So with our universe of products, we've got phone booths, we've got desking, partitions, we have sofas, we have planters, and obviously lighting, which is the reason why you all are here today. Um, so I know I said it just a moment ago, but just to reiterate, you're really getting a three-in-one solution. So I should have coordinated this with lighting systems. If we had anybody doing brunch or breakfast right now, I should have sent some little sporks to tie back into this fun image here. But yeah, so you do get the acoustic value, the light value, and we're very decorative. Lots of large scale pieces and a lot of finish options. So very interesting to play into the aesthetics on your projects. So I wanted to do this presentation. It's a bit different than how I normally do them. If you ever want a deep dive or a CEU, definitely let us know. We can coordinate that for you. This one, I'm going to break down our lighting into the materiality and also speak to the sustainability of our products. So this is showing our PET felt options. So I know you guys have been using PET felts for a while. When we first started 18 years ago, this was really an innovative sustainability solution. So it's 100% recycled PET, so it's all coming from plastics. It is lint rollable. You can bleach it. You can vacuum it. It's a really easy material for cleanability and also a really good sustainable product. One of the things that's nice about our felts is it actually has the hand of a wool felt, even though it's 100% recycled PET. So it's very different. Most other companies only use rigid, hard-pressed board, which has to be cut or carved, and it's more angular. And ours is a softer felt, so we can actually do some really fun products. Like their classic one here, the Buzzy Shade. I always like to show this one because, again, thinking of scale, this is our marketing team inside of this fixture. So we get up to 78 inches in diameter. So again, since it's a soft material, we can have rounded edges. We don't have to have hard cutoffs. We can do extra layers of fabric so we can really tie into the design or branding of your company. I always refer to this image where I've got 3 different colors of blue. Pretty much any other company you work with, they're not going to have one color of blue, let alone multiple colors. And this is a standardized option. You can just go to our catalog and pick out the color, and we can have that for you in 4 weeks. Also, since it's a soft felt, we can fold it and pleat it. So you have our Buzzy pleat here. This one comes with 2 different sizes, I'm sorry, 2 different patterns and 3 different sizes. And it's a really creative way to enhance your ceiling. I always love this image where they have some with and some without the lighting feature. And we also have the linear version with the long. Now, we have a lot of other felt fixtures, but just for brevity, I just wanted to show you just a little taste of it. We also, since we do furniture, we have our own proprietary Buzzy fabric, which is a sustainable solution as well. It's coming from a percentage of, depending on the grade, of recycled materials. We also work with Quadrat. And with Quadrat, it allows us to bring in some really fun textiles. And this is what's really different with acoustic lighting, because nobody else has the upholstery skills that we have. Generally, a lighting company is not known for sewing sofas, so it makes sense. But we can take that and we can come up with some really creative products like our Buzzy Shroom, a very recent launch that we had. I've got a few images of the shroom here. This one's 72 inches in height. It's a super sucker as far as sound absorption is concerned. It's just so much acoustic material here. But I really love that it's got such an iconic shape. We also have our Buzzy Pebble. And again, I'm not going to show you the full range, but definitely welcome you guys to look at our website and see some of these other products. Our Buzzy Burner, a great option if you have a low ceiling but still want a nice impact piece. And this one is a fun project. This was Lego's headquarters. You might have seen this. It was just on the cover of Interior Design magazine that just came out about a week ago. So great to have that spread. It was a fun project. They actually did multiple floors, and each floor had a different color scheme. So this is obviously the pink floor, but from outside the building, you'll see one that's blue and one that's green, and it's just really creative what they did with our Buzzy Jet here. So just to show a few more, and Buzzy Jet standing. This is a nice one. Oftentimes I see people use this in an atrium setting. You may have a hard time bringing large scale pendants down for a seating vignette. So this is a good way to anchor that into those types of settings. Or of course, in this image where you've got a lot going on in the ceiling, it could get real messy real quick if you were hanging pendants around all that HVAC. Our Buzzy Chip. This is a classic, instant classic. We launched it just about 2 years ago, but people really love this one. I get a lot of comments when I show it in this color specifically. I'll hear taco or hot dog, and every now and again I'll hear somebody call it the Twinkie. But it's been a fun piece. It definitely gives a smile for people when they see that one in their space. And then our largest one is our Buzzy Zepp-Light. We go up to 122 inches in length on this. And I love this image with the nice Quadrat memory fabric. Again, something that's a bit unexpected in lighting fixtures to see that. Now, I kind of want to switch gears. I said I wanted to talk about materiality. I want to launch or show you guys what we recently launched. It's a very eco-conscious collection. So I've got a little bit of a quiz here for you guys, or maybe not a quiz. So what do gum, joy, and sustainable design have in common? I will come back to this in just a moment, but I just want to give you guys a quick teaser here. So have in common is a little bit of a play on words too. About a year ago, we met this design duo. They're US-based college best friends that started their own design business, and they're called Common Object Studio. So we've got Fernando and Justin here. Fernando was specifically inspired for what I'm about to show you with chewing gum. So a lot of fun with this product and this launch. We actually at Neocon had chewing gum packets to tie back into this. So Fernando was inspired by chiclet. So when he would go visit his family in Mexico as a child, he'd bring back all this chiclet, and he would have these little pillows of gum here, but he didn't want to chew it. He would just lay them out and make little art tableaus with all the bright colors. So that was the inspiration here. So we've got the Buzzy Chicle. So it's from bubblegum to sustainable acoustics. And I know I've mentioned sustainability a few times, and I'll dive a bit deeper in that one. I like this particular image. It's fall time. I love the little fall colors on this particular shot. One of my colleagues, Beata, there. So, but we have two models of the light. So we've got a round version and we have a linear version. And I've got the dimensions listed here. And these, you can see it's actually, the Chicle is forming this, it's essentially a modular system here. If you wanted to, we could have all the different colors that we have in our collection. All the images I show are just monocolor, but definitely a fun, playful addition to your projects with this one. It looks, not only looks good, but also does good. So again, I will share a bit more about the construction here. So I showed you the upholstery and the foam earlier. This is our first product where we're actually taking, instead of an acoustic foam, we're using recycled denim. So that material here, it looks, one person referred to this as their dryer lint, but it kind of does have that look. But it's a very sustainable product, and it also is a higher performer with the acoustic absorption. I know in this image, it's actually one of our acoustic planters, but it's the similar construction to the light fixture. So when I say it's eco-conscious, not only are we using that filler, which is 80% recycled fiber. Also with our fabrics, it's 100% recycled fabric content. So it's either going to be recycled cotton, or we also have a product that is a recycled polyester. So if you are looking at this more in a healthcare application, you could use it in that for a bit easier for cleanability aspect. But we also are thinking about the life and the circularity of this product. So we have no glue, there's no adhesives, there's no staples. So we actually have a wooden dowel system, and then it's sewn together. But then time you're done with this, or your clients moved out, they can fully disassemble this, and it's 70% recyclable materials on this. And this is just a nice chart. We're definitely growing even more and more. If you are interested in our sustainability story, we have a nice link with a lot of infographics and details on this. But essentially, we want to have everything that can go back to being recycled, or some materials can go back to nature. So please have a look at that when you have a chance. And then just a couple of images. This is Justin when he was at the factory with the prototyping. And some nice shots here. This is actually in our Chicago showroom. It was a really fun launch at NeoCon with this product. And this is a nice detail. You can see the inside of our linear. You could also alternatively use a spotlight instead of the globe light, so that will give a higher lux level if you're using this over a workstation, for example. And lastly, before we move on or end to go to our Q&A, I just want to share a couple tools and some other services that we offer. So obviously, if you're on our website, we're going to have spec sheets. We do have photometrics for everything. We have an RT60, which is actually an acoustic tool. This is going to help you to know how it's going to perform in the space. And obviously, we've got certifications. But one thing that's really nice is for every product, we have a configurator. So this is our Buzzy hat. Our Buzzy hat, there's over 24,000 potential options. So this will allow you to go through, pick out the metal details, what type of fabric you'd like to use, the size of the fixture, and then you can export this in Revit and make your life a lot easier when you're designing with BuzziSpace. Additionally, you could even export this to a spec sheet, so you can have that go on your schedule and have everything called out, so there's no surprises when you go to lighting systems and you're asking for a quote. They know exactly how to quote this for you guys. And then one last thing, not one last thing, two last things. We are on Material Bank, great service. I'm sure you are all familiar with it, but if you order your samples from us by midnight, you should have it by 10 a.m. the next morning. I always love showing this image to show these little robots working around in Memphis, Tennessee, where they store that. Really, really nice service that they offer. This is the last one. Okay, so I know I've spoken a lot about acoustics without going into a lot of details. We do have acousticians on staff. If you ever have an acoustic need, we can prepare a good, better, best scenario for you guys. So that will actually come in with the reverberation charts. We can show you how something's going to perform before and after, so you don't over or under specify acoustic products. I like this particular example. Hopefully you can see it well. It starts with the silver version. There's not a whole lot. Maybe this is an option where then your client can recoup some budget and add on to other features down the road, because sometimes people don't know until they move in how much they're going to need. So again, if you ever need some acoustic assessments, let me know, let Lighting Systems know. We'll hook that up for you guys. With that, I think we'll end it here and then move on to Q&A.